Hey guys. Hey guys. Hey guys. Happy weekend. Happy weekend. Happy weekend. Happy weekend. It is Saturday. Hopefully everybody is feeling good. It's the weekend. Most people live for the weekend. Most people live for the weekend. They can't wait for the weekend. I like every day. So I don't live for the weekend. I live for every day. So I just wanted to come live yesterday. The live had cut off. So for those that were on, I'm doing the live basically over. And I'm looking to help, not even help. I'm looking to work with 100 women in 2025. Okay. Looking to work with 100 women in 2025, right? What does that mean? What does that look like? Simple, right? Simple. I want to work with women. Um, Years ago, I had a group of like 300 women, and they all were, seeking help. They were seeking some type of help, some type of freedom, they were seeking some type of guidance, right? That's when the internet wasn't, um, too saturated. Everybody's selling courses, everybody's selling, stuff, and, it wasn't too saturated, right? But now, everybody and their mother selling something, everybody and their mother selling a course. Now you could be a TikTok influencer, you could be a Amazon, let me see, Amazon influencer. Let me see. Okay, this is good. You could be an Amazon influencer, you could become a TikTok influencer. It's just so much, right? So I used to be a part of a company that focused on financial literacy, right? If you guys know, I was a part of TLC. I used to take the vitamins, the tea. The TLC products was amazing. The compensation plan was amazing. I used to make like $800 a week just on hand. That wasn't including my residual that I was making like $800 a week. I mean, overall, I made, a lot of money in that company. And then in the financial literacy company, I also made a lot of money. So financial literacy is my thing. TLC, kicked me out. Which I told everybody because I have videos up that says lose 5 pounds in 5 days, and they got fined for the FTC 6 figures, and they was going after the reps and telling the reps to shut their account down, and I was one of them ones. So, at first I was upset, but MLM is nothing but but a high paying job basically. So, now I'm back with the financial literacy, and the financial literacy company focus on financial literacy, right? I realize that a lot of people don't have financial literacy, right? We need financial literacy at every level of our lives. We need financial literacy, guys, in every level of our life. We need financial literacy, right? You getting married, you need a car. You buying a house. You starting a new career. You're getting divorced. You're buying an apartment. You got a credit card. Like all of these, you need financial literacy at all of these levels, right? You need to know what interest is. You need to know what, PMI for your house is. You need to, understand how interest works. You need to understand compound interest. You need to understand investing, emergency funds, savings fund. You need to understand everything, right? So that's why um, I encourage people, right? I encourage people to learn as much as they can about financial literacy, right? Learn as much as you can about financial literacy, like just period, right? Learn financial literacy, okay? So, like I was explaining yesterday, right? Financial literacy, guys, is our only hope. Financial literacy, guys, is our only hope, okay? People are drowning in debt right now. People are up to here in their ears with debt. Financial literacy, guys, are only hope. So, how do we start building, right? How do we start moving forward? How do we start making money? How do we start building a legacy? How do we start building an emergency fund? Like all of these things, right? So, most people have jobs, right? But their job is not enough. right? So with your job takes care of your bills, right? You got your light bill, you got your car note, you got your mortgage, you got your rent, you got your food, you got your insurance, you got your kids, you got everything, right? So you use your job to pay your bills, but then you use a business to start building your legacy. Okay? You use your job to pay your bills, but then you start a business to start building your legacy, right? So starting a business, right? Starting a business, right? Doesn't mean I have to have a brick and mortar, that I need to have a building. No, you can have your cell phone. Your cell phone, you can start your business on your cell phone, right? You can learn real estate. You can learn Airbnb stuff. You can learn about credit. You can learn about a digital marketing. You can learn about TikTok influencers and Amazon influencers and selling books. And I mean, the list goes on and on, guys, on the amount of things that you can actually sell, online, right? And the amount of businesses that you can start. You can be a medical carrier, right? You could be a bird dog where you go and take pictures of houses, right? You could do Uber. I mean, the list goes on and on, like for real. So you have your job pays your bills, but with your job money, you need to know how to budget, right? As an entrepreneur, I've learned how to budget, right? And it was a forced thing, right? As an entrepreneur, I can have a $30,000 month and I can have a $3 month. Like, right? It's not consistent $30,000 a month, right? That would be great, right? But it's not. Right? So as an entrepreneur, you got to know how to budget, right? You got to know how to budget. You got to know what your bills are every month. You got to know not to spend hella crazy, right? You got to budget, right? I think budgeting 101 is key, right? Get rid of, most of your subscriptions, right? You don't have to drink Starbucks, $8 cups of coffee every day. You don't have to, go out to eat. You can eat some oodles and noodles and peanut butter and jelly, right? So all of this stuff, right? So we got to know how to budget, right? Because most people have a job, but they don't know how to budget, right? All the money they get, it goes right out, right? They get paid today, they broke today. They got paid yesterday, they broke today. They broke today, right? So it's like we got to understand budgeting, right? We got to understand budgeting because if we don't, this is a sure way to be broke, right? And then not just budgeting, right? Budgeting is just one aspect of your financial literacy, right? Not just budgeting, right? Now, how do you keep money, right? How do you keep money? How do you keep money, right? You budget and then you save, right? Now, you're not saving money for a car. You're saving money so that I can always have money, right? You're saving $100 a month in a high yield savings account. You're saving $100 a month so that I know that I'm secure enough and that I always have money, right? The average person don't even have $500 to their name. That's insane to me, right? When you can make $500 a month, reviewing products on Amazon. Like, that's insane. So budgeting is one aspect of financial literacy. Saving and keeping your money is another aspect of financial literacy, right? And then having an emergency fund. There's always an emergency, guys. There's always an emergency. Something's always going to happen. Your kids are always going to need something. Your car may break down. Something may break down in your house. A pandemic may happen. Anything, right? So once you understand budgeting and then saving, meaning keeping your money, now you have an emergency fund. So when things do happen, you can just go to that pot. And all of this should be in a high yield savings account, meaning you're getting interest on saving your money. Go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT about some savings accounts that's high yield, getting 3-4% a year. Now, of course, depending on how much you're saving, that's the amount you're gonna get. The more you have, the more, of course, interest you get. If you got $3, In savings, you ain't gonna get that much. If you got 300 or 3,000, you'll get a little more, right? So budgeting is what one of the things I've learned as an entrepreneur. I had to budget. I can't be spending all crazy and wild. Even when I have a $30,000 month, I can't spend crazy and wild because the next month I can have a $3 month. Right? So you got to know how to budget. Then you got to know how to save. Save your money for the sake of always having money. That's the purpose of the savings, right? Then the emergency fund, right? You want to have your emergency fund. Anything happens, okay? Then another piece of financial literacy, guys, is having money that comes in, whether it's $100 a month, $200 a month, $500 a month, $1,000 a month, $30,000 a month, whatever it is, you need some passive income. Now, how do we get passive income, right? We get passive income through businesses, right? Now, the stock market is a great way to get passive income, right? The stock market, because a lot of companies either pay monthly or quarterly, right? Now, of course, depending on how many shares you have, or if you're doing options trading, it depends on how many contracts you got out. You can literally, guys, make passive residual income, right? Now, some people may say, well, this doesn't make any sense because if I'm living check to check, how do I save? How do I invest? How do I, start a business? That's why the budgeting piece is so key, right? We got to sit down with ourselves and look at our financial statement. We got to sit down with ourselves and look at our financial statements. Okay? We got to look at our bank account. What is going out every month? What am I spending unnecessarily? Right? What am I spending unnecessarily on things that I don't need? Right? So I'm sure you will find an extra $300 to $500 just from your job's paycheck. Right? So you got your budgeting, your savings, your emergency account, and then your passive income, which is investing. You can invest as low as $5, $5 a week in a stock. Amazon, Walmart, Apple, any stock, any company that you constantly buy from, you can invest in and become part owner. Okay, $5 a week. Start for your kids, right? You $10 a week, and as time go on, $10 a week, $15 a week, right? Get you a Roth IRA. Set that up for you and your kid, right? Set a Roth IRA up for you and your child. Like, it's really simple, right? It's really, truly simple, right? Set these things up in place, right? So when I say I'm looking to work with 100 women, I'm looking to work with 100 women that want to get financially educated, okay? You can go to jointanisha.marie.com and click on join my team. It's a video that you can watch. You can join my team. It's a small monthly fee. We're going to have weekly trainings. Right, hasn't started yet, but we will be having weekly trainings. We're going to be talking about building credit. We're going to be talking about getting business funding. We're going to be talking about budgeting. We're going to be talking about financial literacy. We're going to be talking about creating a legacy. We're going to be talking about setting up an ebook, creating an ebook. Having an ebook, how to make passive income, how to be an Amazon influencer. And then once you join my team, you'll also get the Amazon influencer training. Right now, I've sold that training for, $200, $300, $500, $1,000, right? You will get that when you join, my team, because I want you to also be in a position, right, to be able to make money while you shopping. I've been making money while I've been shopping for over 10 years. Okay? I've been making money from Amazon for over 10 years. Now I'm making money for shopping on TikTok, right? So that is another stream of income for you and your family, okay? So you go to jointanisha.marie.com, click on join my team, okay? We will be doing weekly trainings. And again, this is accountability, right? If you're over 40 or you're 30 in your 30s and you're like, I want to start setting something up, right? You see everybody online making money. You see everybody online selling courses. You see everybody online selling books and shit. And you like, damn, I want to be able to do that. Okay, well, you could join my team, join TanishaMarie.com. You'll get the training, you'll get the course, you can go through it. But the system is a financial literacy system. It teaches credit, it teaches how to build credit, it teaches investing, right? It teaches you budgeting, it teaches all of these things. Hey guys, how are you to you? So at the end of the day, guys, like the time is now, right? It's like, when do we get ourselves in position, right? We got to get ourselves in position so we can stay in position. Okay? We get ourselves in position so we can stay in position so we won't ever be out of position. Hopefully this is making sense, right? We get ourselves in position so we'll never be out of position, right? I've been an entrepreneur for 13 years. I've lost a lot of money, but I've made a lot of money. I've spent a lot of money. I bought $5,000 bags, right? I bought $1,000 belts, just spending frivolously, right? But that $5,000 that I spent on a bag, I could have been investing. That $1,000 that I spent on a belt, I could have invested that. But now I'm wiser. Okay? Now I'm wiser. Right? Now I'm wiser. So I'm not spending $5,000 on a bag ever again. I'm not spending $1,000 on a belt ever again. Right? I'd rather put my money into real estate, myself, investing in myself, or in the stock market. Okay? Or in the stock market. Okay? Stock market and real estate. Most wealthy people have real estate and stocks and bonds and treasuries and all of the things. Right? So, if you want weekly training from me, which I've made a lot of money online, we're going to talk about budgeting, savings, emergency funds, passive income, right? How to be an influencer, right? On TikTok and on Amazon. Getting paid to shop, right? Everybody's going to shop. Everybody continues to shop. But are you getting paid to shop? What they say? Getting paid, right? So I got wiser, right? I got wiser. So I'm not spending money. That's why I said women over 40. If you're over 40 or you 30 and you're like, man, I want to start setting up my legacy for real. I really want to start growing. I want to start my own business. I want to know about business funding. I want to know how to set up myself. I really want to start setting this up. If I die today, of course, nobody wants to die. But if I die today, my husband and my kids will be set up, right? I have things in place for them, right? So if I die, guess what? They won't be stressed out. They'll still be able to pay bills. They'll still be able to live their life, go whatever, go buy them a house, whatever they want to do, right? I'm not leaving bags and belts and wigs, right? They'll have some of that too, but they need money, right? So I set myself up to win. I set myself up to be in position, right? So that I never be out of position, right? With this Trump administration and what Trump is doing, getting rid of all the homeless people, locking people up left and right, getting rid of the migrants. It's literally a civil war in America. It's literally a civil war, guys, in America right now. So we got to put ourselves in position, friends, to win. So if we got to get out of here because Trump acting stupid, guess what? You can get the next plane to Africa. You could go the next plane to Colombia. You could get the next plane to Grenada. You could get the next plane to Jamaica. And you ain't worried about, oh, I ain't got the money. I can't do this. I can't do that. Because in America, it's either you poor or you rich. That's it. And it's everybody else in between. Either you poor or you rich. And if you black, forget it. They don't care whether you poor or you rich. They treat us all the same. So all the high bougie black people who think, oh, I'm bougie, no. The white power structure treats all black people the same, whether you poor or whether you rich. You see what happened to Diddy. You see what happened to Bill Cosby. You see what happened to a whole bunch of Shannon Sharp, and you see all these top people. Yeah, get treated like a poor nigga. Come on now. Come on. So we got to put ourselves, guys, in position. So go to joinTanishaMarie.com. I look forward, to working with you. We're gonna have a group. I used to do mansion parties, so I'm looking to do like a mansion party the next year or so, with my women's group. Like again, my goal is to work with 100 women, help 100 women get themselves in position to win. I'll see you guys on the next live. Now you turn this off.